I forced him out of my base. For those of you who are really paying attention to my base, I was actually building an Ancient of Wind at one point there, because I was considering massing tier 2. However, with my buildings delayed as much as they were, this Ancient of Lore on the right-hand side already up, and my expansion already in good shape, I decided, you know what, I can just mass Dryads and maybe go up to Bears later on. Now, a couple of important things also I wanted to point out this game. I talked earlier about resource management very briefly. By going up to 20 food wisps, by going up to 10 wisps on lumber, it allowed me to stockpile a lot of lumber, because I canceled 2-3 lures and an Ancient of Wind, which definitely takes its toll on money, both gold and wood, so, you know, whatever. But very big deal is that, you know, now I have to try to produce from 3 lures, and the thing is, when you have 2 gold mines, you have a ton of gold coming in. You have way more than you realize, and especially if you're producing units like Dryads, you have so much more gold coming in than lumber, it's ridiculous. And I actually feel like I do a fairly decent job of keeping my lumber income on par with my gold income, despite making Dryads and teching and all that stuff. So just some quick things here. I pulled the creeps out, and I actually managed to pull the red drake just exactly the right amount to have it out of the healing fountain range. And this is very standard creep practice, especially with a healing fountain camp. You really want to try to pull the creeps, get as many of them out of the healing fountain range as possible, and then go for it. So you just see here I pull the Dryad down. This was actually a bit late, I should have pulled it down earlier, but I have that heal. I notice that he left me alone, so he's probably creeping something decent, but I don't really care. I'm just getting a lot of creeping done. My Beastmaster hitting level 2, I summon the Hawk. I don't want to get the item stolen by the Blade Master, and indeed, I just get the kill and all that fun stuff, and there we go. So I have a few Dryads. My army's not very big because roughly 18 of the food is wisps. Probably even more than that. Closer, I mean 18 to 20, something like that, is in wisps. So I only really have 30 food to spend on my army. 10 of that are my heroes, and I have roughly 7 units that I can make. And 3 Dryads, 3 hunts, and another Dryad on the way. So indeed I have, I guess, 9 on lumber, as the math would equate to. So my army is very small, and I actually thought that to myself in this game. I was like, my army's really not very big for 50 food. Whatever, 50 food's 50 food. I should be okay. And besides, I can reproduce anything I lose. I'm making these Moonos in the back of my base so I can hit 80 food. I'm teching tier 3 for bears, but I really don't want to let him level up his Beastmaster too much, because if you think about it, my RP composition, every spell my Beastmaster can summon, and half the spells my Keeper of the Grove can summon, are dispellable by Spirit Walkers. A Blade Master will freaking crap on a Keeper of the Grove later on in the game, so I don't want to let him level up too much. So here we go. You see the fight. I just entangle the Kodo and go for that right away, and then I entangle the Raiders and go for them as well. And this is just pretty standard play, just trying to get as much damage done as I can. I managed to use his healings for a little bit late on this Beastmaster. You see that right there. I wanted to actually keep that one Dryad alive, and I didn't manage to do it. But now you just kind of see that my army is getting dropped very quickly. I'm losing a lot of units. He's doing a very good job of ensnaring and killing off these units. However, I almost feel like he might be better served going for the Keeper of the Grove. However, right here I realize my hero's getting very low on a town portal, and I suppose my opponent maybe should have kept some more mana and saved a Hex. I think in general Orc players should always try to save a Hex just in case you get a free hero kill like he would have gotten there. My town portal came in very late. I'd honestly cast it at maybe half health, but of course ping and BattleNet and all that. But that battle was simply about entangle and right click. And I did as best I could. I microed away units that were getting focused, and you might have seen a little bit of that in the battle. But for the most part, I was fighting against ensnare. I killed the first raider, but then 2 more showed up, and after that point, there's really not much you can micro. And it was just a simple, you know, who can do the most damage output battle. I did a decent job. I got level 3 on the Keeper. You'll notice right here that I grabbed Thorn's Aura level 2. And I feel that's actually a very smart choice. And it's also what pro Nidals use in Elf Mirror, and I just sort of copy that because that's how I roll. And actually, it works quite well because entangling roots, typically, number one, you can often kill the unit before it drops out of entangle anyway, and the damage output of the entangling root, the damage per second, does not increase until level 3 roots. And honestly, at level 5, I pick roots level 3. So I don't really lose any damage output. So right here, for example, this raider will clearly die before the 9 seconds are up on level 1 entangling roots. And here he comes to focus my army, and this is kind of sad face for me. It gets entangled, so I pop the invulnerability potion. And of course I could have popped this sooner as well, but again, ping hurts it a little bit. However, I realized, you know, I can really do some damage to this Blade Master. And you notice that he actually takes a lot. And some of this is from Thorn's Aura. He's taking roughly 14 damage per hit from Thorns, which is pretty significant, I would say. And here I get to staff my Beastmaster. Good times there. I quickly select him, and I'm going to tag a couple Moonwells. You'll see if you look back at my base, I shift-click 2 Moonwells, then I send him back in. which means my micro's been suffering, and hey look, something got eaten. I lost a dryad here, but here we go. Entangle and focus on the Kodo. In this case, I believe the entangle does break before anything happens, but we'll see in a second. Actually, nope. Here we go, 9 seconds. That Kodo's about to die. I didn't actually have to re-entangle that because I had a dryad hitting it, but I wasn't completely certain that that was going to happen, so... but here we see the real beauty of going bears in Night Elf. You just notice that I just got to rejuvenate one of my dryads, and this is really just the fun that happens with Night Elf, is if you're producing bears, you just get healing out of nowhere, and you know, my Beastmaster's back. He's only at half health. If I had played better, I honestly should have tagged more Moonwells and then sent him in, stuff like that, but whatever. I actually do manage to lose this hero, which is just stupid play, I think. I entangle his Blade Master because I don't want to take too much damage. I pass the Greater Healing Potion, but the thing is, Beastmaster has very, very poor armor. He has 3 armor at level 3. My Keeper of the Grove has that much. He's an intelligence hero. That's just kind of pitiful. And here he makes a very smart move. I start running the Beastmaster away, and he Windwalks, and he goes for it, and then he hexes my Keeper of the Grove. And I actually selected my Dryads and said Abolish, but neither of them had enough mana at the time, and so I simply got more or less, you know, picked off. And I lost my Beastmaster somewhat stupidly. So here you see I micro the Dryad a little bit. I pulled it down against the Grunt just a tiny little bit. More bears come in and I rejuvenate my hero and that Dryad, and you just see that my army just stays in really good shape, and I have 67 food, which is quite phenomenal. If you look at what he only has 39. I'm clearly outproducing him. However, again, a large portion of my food is indeed workers, so you shouldn't let the food deceive you too much, but it's very, very obvious that I'm outproducing him here. He is producing units as best he can. He's not letting his gold go up too high, but I'm just leveling up off of his army at this point because my army just becomes too good. At some point I had enough money that I could get attack and armor upgrades, so my units are 1-1, which is just another level of benefit that I have over him. So here the bear's getting hit, and I'm going to staff that as soon as possible, and that does get staffed back into my base, and that's all happy. My one bear did eventually get digested in the back of his Kodo over there. That finally died out. So that's unfortunate for me, but again, my army's just too good, and you see me just able to right-click down this Bestiary. That's just taking a lot of damage. Entangle on the Spirit Walker, whatever, right-click on the Blade Master. And again, the Keeper of the Grove running away with Boots of Speed, not easily catchable. His instants are already on cooldown. I rejuvenate it once more. I morph that bear, realizing, oh crap, I might get entangled. And you just see me running away, trying not to get picked off. More stuff dying. He hexes it, but he clearly does not have enough damage output. And you just see a ton of bears walk up, and he gets sort of surrounded, and he leaves the game. So a fairly short game, of course. Not too much else to say. My thought process really opened up with, I'm going to open up with Keeper Hunts, it'll be fun. I also want to expand right away, so I did that, I think, before my first Huntress, because my Moonwell was still not done. And in retrospect, I've said this a few times now, I really do like this different build order. Whether it was a mistake, but it turns out that I think I like it more. It's a little bit riskier. If he actually tried to push me, I would not have a lot of production capability. But everything worked out very well, because making 2 Huntresses and then losing a Wisp because you're making it into a Tree of Life gives you 25 food. It would be 26 with just 2 Huntresses, but again, you soak up 1 Wisp into a Tree of Life, and you have 25 food, which means even on just 1 spare Moonwell, which means 2 total Moonwells, I can make my Beastmaster, and then I can produce lores and make another well, which I did, and all that fun stuff. But you can actually get 2 hunts and 2 heroes and an expansion and a ton of lumber, and it's all right there for you. One thing I didn't, I guess, point out too well during the game, and I recommend you rewatch the replay if you want to use this type of strategy, especially for big maps like Knollwood or Lost Temple, or even fairly large ones like Twisted Meadows, or I don't want to say Road to Stratholme, that's not quite the right one, but it doesn't really, I don't remember the new maps all that well, because that was sort of past when I stopped playing, but there's a very easy expansion. There are very easy expansions to get, and honestly, the way that Orc is playing within the last year or so is they're playing very Blade Master creep, get big items. Blade Master should spawn with a circle instead of a TP. I forget who said that, but that's not important at all. But they play very creep. And I made the conscious choice and effort to kill that scout peon. And again, on a map like Knollwood or Temple or Meadows, where there are a lot of expansions to look at / creep, and it's not super easy to get to all of them very quickly, combined with the fact that the Blade Master is probably creeping and not probably scouting